Mikel Arteta is currently fighting two wars. One is the Premier League title against Manchester City, and the second war is against his mental stability. My favourite comment that I found on the recent big interview on the Arsenal channel with Mikel Arteta is a top comment. Mikel has aged 17 years in the last 38 days. Vamos. I don't know why I love that. Honest to God, look at him. Maybe it's the sun. It's a really bad sunburn. I don't know. He's definitely felt it. I felt like doing a video covering one of my favourite managers in recent years, mainly because of the obvious passion that he has for the club, and also most importantly the journey that he went through to get to the other side, to build the foundations and to reap the rewards of it. Mikel Arteta went through absolute hell a couple of years ago, with understandably a lot of Arsenal fans wanting him out. Of course, members on AFTV making t-shirts saying Arteta out. They went through an awful time back in 2020, 2021. I don't really blame Arsenal fans for doing so. Look, right, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but looking at the results, you would not be surprised. They stuck with him, and for that reason, that is kind of why I do respect Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, and why I really hope, for not just their sake, Arteta's sake, but for the league's sake, they win something soon. Tell me down below your thoughts about Mikel Arteta, and how do you think Arsenal will do next season? How highly do you rate or respect Mikel Arteta as a manager? How great do you think he actually is? Tell me down below. Smash a like button. If we can hit 4,000 likes, that'd be amazing. And also subscribe if you're new. Mazzoli designs for the best football prints, all made by myself. Link down below. We've got about 20 different Arsenal prints, so go and check it out. Use code Arsenal for 15% off all items. And let's go. Mikel Arteta and Arsenal Football Club have gone through two very emotionally turbulent seasons, with a lot of highs all coming to a massive crescendo, which leads to disappointment. And it does suck. Two Premier League campaigns, two campaigns where Arsenal were neck and neck with Man City. In the first campaign, had a lead way further than what anyone could have ever expected. If anything, they played too good and it all fell apart in a short span of time. However, last season was different. It felt like a different team and it felt like a different title fight, and it was. And they only slipped up really once in the entire second half of the season, and that was all it took for them to miss out on a title on the final day. One loss at home to Aston Villa was all it took to prevent Arsenal winning the title. I mean, that literally, that sucks so much. I'll be real, if I was an Arsenal fan, I would throw up. Continuously. Like, seriously, since the start of 2024 in the Premier League, win, 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 and then another win, then win, 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 draw away at Man City, win, win, loss, win, 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 win. And they also got a dog called Win. Bro, they literally have a dog called Win. That's in, like, almost every team photo. Like, he's gone so far that he's got a dog called Win. And they actually take turns taking this dog home to each player to have the dog. I can't do this. We've got articles from the Telegraph with a headline. I'm sorry, I can't take this. Like, the headline is Arsenal's secret weapon is Win the dog. Oh my Jesus Christ. 2 times they dropped points. 1 time is understandable. A point away at Man City, getting a draw away at Etihad is, for any team in the Premier League, is a good result. However, this of course has been critiqued about the element of, if you really want to go for the title at Man City, you've got to make a statement. You've got to go for it. And of course I understand this reasoning. It is easier said than done. Going for a much more cautious approach is understandable. They did get a result which they needed, and yes, it didn't work out in the end, but all it would have took is one time City drop points in the last 7 games, and it would have looked like it was a great result and it was genius. And that is a difference. There's nothing in it, because just like Arsenal, City was flawless in that entire second half of the year, other than 3 games. The point at home to Arsenal, the point at home to Chelsea, and the point away to Liverpool. Other than that, in the Premier League, flawless. Win every single game, which, as someone who is not a top 6 fan, is, for me, frankly, number 1, terrifying, and number 2, boring as hell. I'm sorry, but these teams are so perfect that they can literally win every single game. Every single game, and no one's surprised. Oh my dear God. I don't know if I should be impressed or if I should be annoyed. City and Arsenal, of course, had 2 very rough parts of the campaign, both seemingly around December, November time. City dropped points in 4 games in a row, which is like impossible to even conceive of. They didn't win a game in the Premier League for 4 games. They drew away to Chelsea in a 4-4 incredible game, drew at home to Liverpool 1-1, and then of course drew at home again to Tottenham, and then lost away to Aston Villa. Inconceivable. They were 1-0 down away at Luton, and then drew at home to Palace at home. So they went 6 games with only 1 win against Luton Town. But Arsenal weren't much better either, because in that same time period in December, it was rough. Aston Villa again. Aston Villa, shout out to you guys. You like to ruin everything. 1-0 loss away to Aston Villa, beat Brighton, but then of course a draw away to Liverpool. It's reasonable, and then it kind of really sucked. Very much so. A loss at home to West Ham United, rough, and then another loss away at Fulham. And that led to an incredible 7 days where Arsenal dropped points to Liverpool, lost to West Ham, and lost to Fulham. That's in a matter of 7 days. That was an incredible week on Twitter. But then after that, flawless. Unfortunately, it didn't matter. And that's how last season ended. And now we're back for round 3. Now, Mikel Arteta, I love because I love passion and passion merchant by heart. I love players like Ashley Barnes, Jordan Pickford, Jamie Vardy, because they're for me what the game represents. Complete housery in the finest order. And Arteta represents for me pure unbridled passion, which we all want for our club. And the social media team as well. Can we give a round of applause for the social media team for Arsenal? Honest to God, I'm not even an Arsenal fan, but each time they do one of those like little videos on their YouTube or the social medias, the kind of motivational, inspirational ones, you're making me want to go to the Arsenal mega store and buy £300 worth of kits, which, by the way, is only 1 kit. I'm kidding. But it's not far off. You guys are taking the absolute mick out of me. Actually, ignore me. I need to check one thing. How much would it be for the current Arsenal home kit, full kit with the names on back of the patches? I need to know. You see, this is what I don't get. Why is there like the normal kit here, which looks like the kit, and then there's this, which is authentic? Like, I think it's better material, but like £110 or £80. I mean, look at this. The shorts. Like, the shorts are £45 for the authentic one. And the normal one is £38, so you might as well go for the authentic. £45 for some shorts? What's the socks? Where's the socks? 20 quid. Okay, so right now on the Arsenal club site, so for the shorts with the kit, all authentic by the way, because we're going to go for the real deal here, with Saka on back with the patch and short is, are you ready? A whopping £197. Like, at that rate, you might as well just add more things to it just to make it 200. An Arsenal crest navy bag for life. Okay, well, I'm going to buy a card. There you go. Okay, Arsenal birthday girl card. Come on, you Gunners. £200. This has got nothing to do with the video. I just wanted to make a point. You're taking the mick. By the way, this is not just an Arsenal thing, it's all of you. Since Arteta joined the club back in December 2019, which, by the way, I want to show you guys that team. They played Bournemouth away in that kind of B-Tech Bruce Banana yellow kit, and this was their team. Saka was a left back. Man, seeing that front 3 of Ozil, Aubameyang and Lacazette gives me really, really concerned vibes. That back 4 is dreadful. Like, Maitland-Niles right back, David Luiz, Socrates and Saka as a left back. I mean, Leno in goal weren't particularly fantastic either, and Emiliano Martinez on the bench makes it a bit more funny as well. Since Arteta joined Arsenal, he's tried every single trick in the book, like literally every single trick, things that you'd see in FIFA career mode, to drag Arsenal back to being an actual competitive outfit in the Premier League. Not just football, but Arsenal is an obsession for this man.
I remember that when we were together here, when we scored a lot of goals with our opponents, always he jumped and celebrated, except one team. In one team, every time I scored a goal, I jumped, come back, he was sitting there. It was Arsenal. So in that moment, I said, oh, that guy likes Arsenal, you know?
Every single inch of Arsenal Football Club, from the stadium to the training ground, is literally covered by Mikel Arteta. Now, according to The Athletic, less than an hour after beating teams near the end of last season, for example, 2-0 win at home to Luton Town or a 2-0 win at Wolverhampton Wanderers, that within an hour he's already in his office looking at the highlights and the stats and all the information about his next team. Which, by the way, this may not be exactly like a very niche thing. I'm sure that other managers do this too. Maybe not an hour after the game, but that's not rare. What is rare is after Arsenal lost to Aston Villa, he's actually gone and watched that full game in its entirety 4 times to see what went wrong. He watches every single press conference of every other manager. He actually uses the comments of managers or players as props for his own players as motivation each time. This was famously used in the Ivan Toney moment against Brentford, saying, what was it? Fun time kickabout with the boys or something like that. Incredible memes. He's gone full American with every part of the training ground or stadium full of inspirational slogans that covers every single wall. Banners, this is our time. Fight until the end. Do it for the badge. Do it for the fans. He even takes motivational posters to each game to keep them in the mood of motivation. This guy is like the David Goggins of like managers. For example, you'll see this poster here with identity with players kind of laid out in it, and underneath each word has a meaning behind it. And there's another one called Unity with more meanings behind each letter there. It literally is like Ted Lasso with just a guy just pointing to the believe sign above his head. I love this. Like, I love just the stupid detail this guy would go through to get that extra 1%. You may think it's cringe. You may think all the motivational videos online is cringe. If I was a fan, I would be all into this. If you're curious, for the identity poster, it has like around it like what it means, the acronym of what each like letter means. So I is intensity, D is discipline, E is energy, N is non-negotiables, T is trust, I is improve, T is team, and Y is you. It feels like I'm back in school or something, you know, like this is just incredible. And sometimes like it feels like it must work, or maybe it's just some incredible coincidence that, for example, at their training ground, they've got literally on one wall reading, win the game with set pieces. And I don't know about you, but like they're pretty good at set pieces. 20 goals they've scored just last season from set pieces. There is also the new implementation of an actual anthem, which is North London Forever, or The Angel, which I think they put in place like in 2022. They've implemented an anthem for the club, which I don't think they ever really had before games. Now, for me personally, it's fine. Like, I get it, because it's not a chant from back in the 80s that people think that it's forced or it's cringe or whatever. It's an anthem. If they like it, that's fine. By the way, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I just have no reason to deny people feeling happy or like more connected to their club. Like having a dog called Win is maybe taking the mick a bit, but like not this. This is fine. We did see quite a bit of this from the All or Nothing Arsenal documentary, with the team talks, with the passion, with the behind the scenes. Of course, there was the entire complete mess, but it had to be dealt with Mesut Ozil or Aubameyang or Lacazette. All these players that kind of have to be moved on to kind of get rid of what he probably saw as the poison that was still infiltrating the club. That City game will kind of always be kind of used on him, potentially maybe even more than the Aston Villa game, because they had the opportunity there to really make a statement. Rodri, after that game, saying in his interview, saying the difference was mentality. When Arsenal came here, they didn't want to beat us. And I think that even though Arteta wouldn't admit it, he went safe and played to avoid defeat, which a 0-0 draw would have been a good result if City weren't also perfect like them. Don't forget, Arsenal, before all the memes, before all the jokes, they got 28 wins last season. By the way, the record for Arsenal, their Prem record, 28 all-time. Highest record for most goals scored, 91, and the league best defence last season with 29. Now, if you ask Arsenal fans about like what would you say would have made the difference, many would say they lacked a real natural goal scorer. Despite, of course, having the second most goals scored in the league, there was times where they had a massive inability to take the chances. One example could be, for example, West Ham at home, which they had a lot of opportunities but just didn't take them. Aston Villa also being another one. Both games, Arsenal were dominant and would have won the game if they had that clinical edge. And of course, Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz and Eddie Nketiah, despite them being great players at time to time, none of them are killers. They're not. There is a stat that I found which during that Christmas period that Arsenal were really poor. From just 81 shots, they scored 3 goals. So, are they getting a striker? Well, right now, not really. They've not really done anything actually right now, other than the likes of Calafiori, who the Italian centre-back, which looks like he's sort of like a regen of like Maldini and Nesta, by looks anyway. Maybe he's not that good, but I don't know, and I've never really watched him. There's still a long way to go, but that striker is still there, ready and waiting. Tell me down below in the comments your thoughts about Arsenal. Do you think they will go on to win the league? And I kind of just hope, for the Premier League's sake, it doesn't even need to be Arsenal. And again, I don't dislike City. I just want a competitive league. If it's Liverpool, probably won't be Liverpool. Like, just win. For Arteta's mental state.